right, you guys, we're in here signing books at Tattered Cover Bookstore. And I was thinking as I'm sitting here signing that you might be wondering, what is this process that leads you to coming into the back corners of a bookstore and signing books? So I had a dream probably about 5-6 years ago, and it was a big audacious dream to me at the time to be an author for Hay House, because the people that I read about, the people that inspired me when I was really like alone in my house, no one knew who Danette May was, were Hay House authors. These were the people that were inspiring me and lifting me up in my dark times. And so I put it out there, you know, intentionally wise. And I remember about 3 years ago, I got asked to speak with Hay House, and we had a meeting, and basically it was like, you're not a right fit for the book that you would like to write, but maybe we would like to take your Bikini Body Recipes book. And I remember thinking, no, like I know that I'm meant to write a book that's different than my recipe book for Hay House especially. And I said no. And that was a huge lesson for me now that I'm looking back, of just staying convicted to the truth of what you know and not get pulled into maybe the hype of what looks nice or just like maybe the status of being a Hay House author. I said no, because I knew in my heart that it wasn't the right book to do with them. And then literally, it hasn't even been a year, I get a call from Reed Tracy, CEO of Hay House, and he goes, if you could write any book, what would it be on? And I wanted to say the politically correct answer, so I just said, oh, my 6-week coaching program. He's like, okay, why don't you send us an outline of what you would write on? So I did, and basically it was my 6-week coaching, but Patty, who works on their team, was like, Danette, you have like 7 books in one on this outline, so why don't you pick what really is calling to your heart? And they gave me an amazing book deal and said, we'll support whatever comes up for you that you would like to write on. And this is what I love about Hay House, is that trust in me, which I needed, because it made me dig deeper into what I was meant to write about, not what sounded politically correct to write on. People want to know, what is all that in between mud and muck that you went through, Danette, to get to where you are today? And I knew that I was meant to write about the stories that I had never shared. And then, just in true universe fashion, Hay House contacted me and goes, can you write this book in 6 weeks? We would like to fast track it. It's usually an 18-month process. And so I just leaned in, I knew it was right, and I knew I needed to accept the fast track offer, and started working days, nights, weekends with my editor to write this book. And there were a lot of tears shed, a lot of emotional stuff that was being processed in writing this that I never really had talked about. I hadn't had a therapist ever, so I hadn't really taken time to really process a lot of the stories, a lot of the things that I'd gone through. And even though I'm excited to sign all these books, there's a sense of nervousness. So if you ever write a book, just trust that vulnerability hangover is going to be taking over your cells. And that's been definitely the journey I've been on, is just learning to accept my raw truth and being okay with the world to read it and see it, and to know that I may not be accepted, to know that I'm laying out my heart on these pages and some people will not like it and some people will judge it. And I have to be okay with that. And that's kind of the journey for all of us. Can we operate in our soul? Can we operate in our truth, even if it leaves us unpopular, even if it leaves us being misunderstood? What I do believe, though, is that this book will give so many people permission to be vulnerable, permission to rise up in their stories, and permission to speak their truth and to find their truth.